Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me this evening for the Stamp Around UK video hop. So in the description of the video below you can see links to a whole heap of other videos. If you could just hop over to that, so hit that description button. There's usually a little down arrow or something depending on the device you're watching on. Have a look in the description, click on those links, give everyone some likes and subscribes and some encouraging comments. That would be super duper. Our theme is clean and simple, and I have created a whole set of cards, and we're going to do another 6 with you today. I think that sounds a bit daunting, but these are so quick and easy to do with a bit of prep work, which I have done a bit of the prep work, but I'm going to show you what I did to make these lovely cards. So to me, clean and simple is having, you know, that white space and having a nice simple focal image, which I've decided is going to be this stamped sentiment. Okay, and then there's a little bit of ribbon and bling, but they're totally optional. You could just clean that off altogether, okay? And you could even forgo all the die cutting on the front and just stamp directly onto the card if you wanted to. So lots of ways we can spin this, but as I say, I think clean and simple meets the brief here. These 6 are made with subtles, so we've got Pear Pizzazz, So Saffron, Calypso Coral, Mint Macaron, Pool Party and Blushing Bride. So those are the colours I've used on this set. So the ink on the hello matches the cardstock, and then there's just a little incy bit. You can probably see it better on this one. And then I've just put a bit of blending brush work on the background. Again, you could skip that entirely if you wanted to, but it helps the white circle pop, in my opinion. So yeah, that's what we've done. Okay, and then just the cute black and white accents, because black and white will go with anything. Okay, so that's all using the subtles. Stamp sets, so Biggest Wish stamp set is what we're using for the sentiment. Brilliant set, really hope this sticks around. I just love the way you can combine the fonts and things like that. We're also going to be using the Stylish Shapes dies. That's quite a mouthful. Okay, so you get these cute stitched circles, squares and these sort of fishtail banners. So it's the second to largest that we're going to use in that set. And then we're going to be combining that with a layering circle to get the, which I've already got out, layering circles. So this is just an old stamp case that I've put some magnetic sheet in. This is how I store the ones, the dies that don't go with a set that I reach to every time, and they just sit next to me on in the drawer. So these have got the plain and the scallop circles, so we don't have any circle punches anymore. So we've got the dies. So this is the second largest die, but the largest one of the smaller set, if you know what I mean. Okay, so it's that one. And those two sets combine really nicely to give you just that pop of black around the outside of the circles. Okay, so those are the dies. So prep work that I've done already, and this doesn't take much time, but I just didn't want to waste time on the video showing you necessarily. But basically there are 6 card bases already prepared here, and this time I'm using brights. So we have Coastal Cabana, Gorgeous Grape, Flirty Flamingo, Melon Mambo, Daffodil Delight and Pacific Point. Brilliant bright colours, so obviously those will be the inks that we coordinate with those. So they're already cut and scored. If you are new, I always make a top folding card base like so, which I cut on my stamping trimmer. Okay, and this started life as a full A4 sheet, which I have cut at 4 1/8 of an inch to get the width, and then I have scored at 5 7/8 of an inch, and I've done that with all of those, so you can get 2 card bases out of each A4 sheet of cardstock. Let me just put those to one side because they're going to get in the way there. Or a card base and 2 card fronts. It kind of depends on how you want to use your cardstock. Already cut my black and white layers. Okay, so the black cardstock is 4 inches by 5 3/4, and then the white layer are an 1/8 of an inch shorter and narrower to give you this lovely skinny border. Okay, so I can never remember these off the top of my head. I can remember that, I can never remember this. So this will be 3 7/8 of an inch. Yeah, remember that one. And 5 5/8. Yes, 5 5/8. Okay, so that's those, and we're going to in part of our batch process we'll stick all those together shortly. And then I've already die cut 4 of the white circles and 4 of the scallop circles, so we need to do 2 more of each of those. So I've just got some cardstock to do that with. So I've got my my cut and emboss machine is just off to my right, off camera, so I'm just going to position those onto my cutting mat over here. I thought I was going to be able to try and do 2 at a time. Let me just see. Oh yeah, if I twizzle it around widthways I can. So we're going to do that one on that one, that one on that one, and just wind that through. I did a video last week going through some die cutting basics if you wanted to just nip back on there, but this is the Stampin' Cut and Emboss that I'm using just off camera here. It's a manual die cut machine that presses those dies into the cardstock and cuts them absolutely beautifully. And we have the sandwiches basically 1, 2 and 3. So there's our black and there's our white, and we just need to do that once more. So I'm just going to, so what I did is I cut some strips of cardstock and tried to get, oh, that's not going to fit on there. I should have started up there, I think. Let me just grab another piece of black cardstock. I should be back in 1 moment. So I did just quickly grab some more black cardstock and die cut another one of those, so we could pop that to one side. And then here's our last of the white circles as well, which we can put away as well. Okay, so that's die cutting done. And I think what we'll do is, part of our batch process, I think what we'll do is we'll get all of these prepped and adhered. So my adhesive of choice is Seal. Okay, so we're just going to pop all of these onto our black layers. So I find it easier to visualise the short edge and match up the 3 edges like that. Stampin' Seal's nice and strong, stronger than the old Stampin' Up adhesive. And I just think it's just really nice, quick and easy to get these layers all done. Okay, so there are some repetitive steps in this video, but I just thought it might be useful for you to see some batch card making that you can do nice and quick and easily. The sentiment I've chosen is nice and neutral, so that hello friend, you know, it could be something that you've made for someone just because you haven't seen them for a while, or you're having, like, you know, a get together, you know, a group of friends getting together. That's the first time in a while now that everyone's starting to get back out and about. So I thought this was a cute idea, but you could easily switch that out for Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, congratulations, you know, baby shower cards, or anything like that really. Anything where you might need to do a whole heap of cards and quickly and easily. Okay, so we can actually get these put onto our card bases. I know I haven't done the ink on there yet, but because of the way we're going to do it, it really isn't going to matter if we do it first or later. I kind of figured it'd be nice to get these all done and prepped. Okay, and it really doesn't take long at all. Okay, so this is Flirty Flamingo, which I think is really funny. I used to work with someone who absolutely loved flamingos, so every time I made her a card it had to be Flirty Flamingo that I used. Melon Mambo, one of my favourites. Tell you what isn't in this stack of brights is Bermuda Bay, and that's my other favourite colour in the Stampin' Up collection, and that's because I've used it all. And actually these ones, these colours, I just pulled them out because I already had the half sheets cut, because I've already used the other half for something else. So that's why we've ended up with this particular set of 6. Okay. So I'm kind of decluttering at the same time by making a whole heap of cards. So they're ready to go. Okay, and then all we'll have to do at the end is store those back. Right, let's get on to the stamping then. So to make life a little bit easier, I'm going to use the StampAroundUK tool. Okay, so this is going to be help us do all our stamping. And I'm going to need my cards here for a reference, because otherwise I'm going to forget what colours I need. Okay, so top one, Pacific Point then. So all my ink pads are in the Stampin' Up storage in front of me, so I can just reach in and get them out. And actually this might work out even better than I thought. So StampAroundUK tool then, I've got my clear window here. When it comes to, you get a plain black mat, but I've upgraded to the deluxe mat, which is a separate purchase, but it is great because it wipes clean. We're going to position our circle, so I don't like having my stamp right by the hinge here, because I don't think you get as great a pressure. So I'm going to position that right up against the bar at the top, and then on the first set of lines there. The stamp is now over here and already lined up, ready to go. Okay, so I'm just going to move that over just to show you the first set of inking. So I'm just going to take the ink pad to the stamp like so. Pull it over. Firm press. It's only a small stamp, so you don't need a lot of pressure, so that'll be like that. It will stick, that's fine, just peel it back down and then you've got your perfect little stamped hello. And I'm just going to use a cloth and just spritz that a little bit off, just making that just ever so slightly damp, just so that I can just get that ink off, because we're going to be switching the colours. Okay. Now, you could do all the black ones first, and on the first set of cards I did, but what I found was the second colour going over the top made the black go a little dull. So I'm going to do the colours first, which is a little bit more time consuming. Daffodil Delight is next. That on my cards, obviously. Okay, keeping the ink pads out so that I can then go back to them for the. I can see that's not inked very well, so I'm just going to pop that back on. Okay, so we're going to rinse and repeat that. It's got a bit of a fading on it, but I think it kind of looks groovy, so we'll leave it. Could go back over it because the Stamparatus does allow us to reposition. Melon Mambo is next. There we go. Oh, I love Melon Mambo, it's just such a gorgeous colour. So, ink off. Your pink inks really stain your stamps, but it doesn't cause them any harm, but I do like to give them a clean with a cleaning pad. That Stampin' Up don't carry it anymore, but I still have some, and it gets the staining right off. You just got to make sure it comes off all the way. Flirty Flamingo. Into the corner. So like I say, it's probably less time efficient doing the colours and the black ink separately, but yeah, I think you get a better result. Gorgeous grape. I know you can't see me inking it, but I showed you the first one. And you can see with the photopolymer, it's so easy to see if you've got it covered. So it's dead easy. There we are. Last one is Coastal Cabana, isn't it? It is indeed Coastal Cabana. Lovely bright seasidey blue. It's one that I find difficult to categorise as whether it's a blue or a green sometimes. I think depending on what you put it with, it can look green. See, I think that looks quite green, but it's an interesting colour. So that's our hello done. The other stamp is on the other side of this window already prepped. Okay, so I've got two stamps on one sheet, on one stamping plate. There is another set that comes with it, so in theory you can have 4 sets of stamps ready to go, and the black is just going to be done with Memento ink, so at least we don't need to clean in between each of these now. We can just stamp each one in turn. Like so. Okay, so I'm just going to reposition each of these, and do you know what, it isn't going to matter that much if it's not super straight. The because it's a swirly font on the friend, you could probably get away with it being a little bit on the wonk. That's a technical term, on the wonk. Just setting those to one side so that they can dry in between all the other steps. Don't have a whole heap of space on my craft desk because you only see the bit that you need to see. You can't see all the aftermath, or craftermath as people call it, which I think is really funny. Okay, so I hope this is useful whilst it's taken a bit longer. I think once you've done this bit and done all the stamping and you've cut everything out, which you can just kind of do in front of the telly, you know, these actually come together really, really quickly. I'm probably going a little slower than I would probably do if I was just crafting by myself. You know, stick a movie on, do all your cutting, do all your stamping. and then kind of assembly line it all up, and away you go. So that's all our stamping done, so we can put away the black ink. We don't need that again. Give that a final clean before we just pop that away. Oh, off to one side anyway. Okay, right, so in fact actually let's do our adhesive. Okay, I've already tied some of the bows as well. So I'm just going to turn those over now that they're all dry. Grab some seal. Get those taped up and ready, and just, they're dead easy to line up. And you get that lovely scalloped black border. You could equally have used one of the straight circles, or even the next size up on the stylish shapes, but you would get quite a generous border with that. Might be a little bit too much, but play with your dies, do whatever. And obviously if you haven't got dies, you skip this altogether and you can just stamp directly on your card front. That's totally allowed. And then the other thing we're going to do while we've got these in front of us is stick some dimensionals on, because it's not a Verity card without dimensionals. And with circles I do like to put 3 in a little triangle here. Brand new sheet of dimensionals, look at that. I love these. These are one of the things that I will put on as a stamping reward. So when you spend over £150, you start earning stamping rewards, which is basically 10% off. It starts off at the more value you have on your order, the higher it goes. It starts off at 10%, and you can then spend that on whatever you like. You're not restricted to anything in particular. Okay, got the stack of ink pads as I pulled them out, and we are going to use our blending brushes. Just want some scrap card just to make sure the brushes are clean in between time. And I'm just going to use a brush and just swirl a bit of colour onto the background. No rhyme and reason. Remember, if you get a splodgy bit in the middle, we're going to be covering it up anyway, so just go with it. Okay. So I'm going to make an unholy mess on my craft desk here, because I've got all these brushes. So I have a brush for a colour, sort of a colour group if you like. So this is my purple one, which I'll use for you know, Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather and oh, a specific point. Whoops. There's Gorgeous Grape. I didn't put that last one on the bottom, did I? Whoopsie. So we're going to have one that looks a little bit odd then, by the looks of it. I'm not going to go over the top of it, it's not going to be worth it. Why are those in a different order to what I, because I did them backwards, presumably. Anyway, never mind. Yellow. Daffodil Delight. So again, don't worry about it being streaky or anything, just go with it. Melon Mumbo. Closing these off as I go. Melon Mumbo. and Flirty Flamingo. The other day I was supposed to be using Blushing Bride and realised I was using Flirty Flamingo. I thought it looked a bit bright. There we go. Right, so this step is completely optional. You do not have to do that bit at all. Okay. So all we need to do now is put everything together. Okay, so here we go, Melon Mambo. Let's see if we can make sure we match everything the way it should be. Okay, so that just needs to drop something like in the middle. Just scrape. Can't believe I put the wrong ink on that one. Oh well. I suppose though it doesn't actually matter if you wanted to mix your inks up. So you could totally do that, or you know, do something neutral or something. Other ways to jazz these up will be to heat emboss, add some stamping to the background. That kind of thing. An embossing folder on the background, that would look cool, and then you could ink on that as well and emphasise all that lovely texture that you get from there. Someone started doing some sawing or something outside, so with like, you know, like a power saw or something, so if you can hear something whirring away in the background, that's what it is. Okay, so we're almost there. Bows are just made out of this black and white gingham ribbon. I've already done 4, so I do the bunny ear method. So make your 2 bunny ears in your fingers and tie a simple knot in the middle, and you can fuss about with the size of the loops like so, and use my sharp scissors just to cut those tails, and then you can trim and tidy those off once they're on your project, because you don't always know exactly how long you're going to want them necessarily. So 2 bunny ears, good tight knot in the middle so it doesn't come undone. Trim that off. And then by far the best way to stick the bows on is using a glue dot. So we'll just have those going off on the side there. Our little card with an identity crisis. Doesn't look bad though, to be fair. Oh dearie me. Never mind. The point is you got the idea. Okay, that knot was a little bit loose, so we'll just... Okay, so I'll do all the trimming of tails and things after. And then you can totally stop here. But I added some rhinestones to mine. So a take your pick tool is great for this. And we're just using the small ones, just using that putty end just to sort of scrape them off the backing sheet. Now normally I do 2 at the bottom and 1 at the top, but we've got the bow kind of covering this bit here, so I figured it would be more balanced if we did a 2 and at the top. So this is super dead easy. Depending on the age of your children, you might decide that they can help you out with this bit as well. Have fun with the gems. And I actually think they're going to start adding 20 on there. Okay. And like I say, all of these additional steps are totally optional. Or you can jazz it up even more. Okay. So I hope that you've got an idea there on how you can make something very quick and easy as an individual card, but equally scale it up to make multiples. So the final step is just to fold and burnish and trim our tails, but I'll do that later. So don't forget, this is a video hop. Please do stop by the other YouTubers and give them some likes and subscribes. I for one am trying to hit a subscriber target as well. I'd like to get, my next milestone is 100, so sorry, is 800. So that would be really cool to get to that. And that's it, that's me done. Okay, a bit of a longer video, but I hope it was worth it. Okay, and just for lols, let's have a look at our how weird and wonderful. My favourite is obviously the Melon Mumbo. Love it. Thanks ever so much, everybody. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.